coastal empire in the Lowcountry, home to many amazing beaches, to some rich architecture, and to some true Southern charm. But the people and the stories that you'll find here also make our home uniquely special. So this week, WJCL's Frank the Big Guy Sulkowski is going off the beaten path to find those unique stories. This morning, he shows us a giant mailbox right here in Chatham County. Here's a special report.
I have a motto I try to live by: go big or go home. But I'm not the only one with that idea here in the coastal empire. You'll see what I mean as I take you off the beaten path. You can say Charles Herbert Keller dreams big.
Most of it comes at night, you know, when I go to bed at night and go to sleep. And then I'm half asleep and half awake. Then I think of something and then I try to get up and go build it the next day.
One of those dreams that's become a reality has been known to stop traffic. You're looking at one of Keller's creations, a giant mailbox located near the Interstate 95 overpass on Quaco Road right here in Chatham County.
The mailbox, I just got an idea one day to build a mailbox, and I don't know, I went and got another mailbox, you know, regular stock mailbox, and used 1 inch for 1 foot. And then I just started getting some old metal in the shop in the wintertime and started building it.
This 8-foot wide, 16-foot long mailbox rises 30 feet in the air and has been an attention getter for several years now. But Mr. Keller, well, he's still waiting on a big delivery from Uncle Sam.
Tell everybody I'm looking for a check, a big check from the government. Them cows need a big check. That's why I needed a big mailbox.
Now, Keller's initial thought was to erect this one-of-a-kind mailbox a few miles from its current location. He wanted to put it next to another utterly large landmark, this robust bovine in front of the family business, Keller's Flea Market, on Highway 17.
And I was going to put it there by the big cow at the flea market. But, you know, if you put something there too big, they'll get you for, you know, a building permit and all that. That's why I didn't mount it there. But it was going to go with the cow. That's why it's got the cow address on it.
So the black and white creations continue to have their own spaces off the beaten path. And for Mr. Keller, well, another large late-night vision may soon become a reality.
I was going to get an old school bus and take a school bus and put it in the woods and then paint the school bus like a loaf of bread. To me, a school bus, the back of a school bus looks just like a loaf of bread. You know, if you painted it up and stuck it in the woods, it looked like a giant, you know, sunbeam, you know, painted up. You know, just, I can come up with some crazy stuff sometimes now.
We go from extremes, from a really big mailbox to a teeny tiny church coming up tomorrow as we once again go off the beaten path. Reporting from the studio, Frank Sulkowski, WJCL News, working for you.
Welcome back. Our home is known for the beach, the history, and of course, the Southern charm.
Oh, yes.
But there are other stories that make the coastal empire truly special.
That's right. This week, WJCL's Big Frank, the Big Guy Sulkowski, well, he takes us off the beaten path, finding the unique stories in our own backyard. Today, he shows us America's smallest church in McIntosh County. Here's a special report.
Just off exit 67 of Interstate 95, among the moss-covered oaks, sits a little piece of heaven. Locally, it's known as the smallest church in America. The 10-by-15 House of Prayer is Christ Chapel in Memory Park, a non-denominational church built in 1949 by Miss Agnes Harper.
It's just a little haven out in the middle of kind of nowhere where you just drive up and a little peaceful place to stop.
It's been joked the church has room for 13 people in it, and that's if everyone holds their breath. The church features a pint-sized pulpit about the size of a couch and about a dozen pews with fold-away knee rests. The inside also features stained glass windows and keepsakes left by visitors who, by looking at the church register, have come from around the country.
Once it's discovered, people come back and visit and tell their friends about it.
The church's upkeep comes from donations from those who have found the mini haven along Georgia's coast. Several years ago, the McIntosh County Chamber of Commerce adopted the church and erected signs to help attract tourists.
Right now they don't have regular services, but they will do special events. If someone wants to come and have someone baptized here or get married, they can call the Chamber of Commerce and we'll make reservations and get in touch with somebody to come out and make sure it's nice and clean and ready for their event.
What this tiny church lacks in size, it makes up for in inspiration and hope it gives to those who stumble across this house of prayer, located just off the beaten path.
It's not one of those things that jumps off the page at you and go, oh, I think I'm going to look for the smallest church in America. But once they find it, we have a lot of inquiries about it.
Well, here in the Coastal Empire, we have several places and stories that make us special. Well, this week, WJCL's Frank, the big guy, Sulkowski, well, he takes us off the beaten path. He finds our unique spots in our own backyard. Well, today is more about that large globe in Midtown Savannah.
Many of us go around the world every single day. Whether you're driving down Durant or White Bluff, the Savannah Gas Company globe can be seen peeking through the trees and rising over buildings near its East 73rd Street location.
It does sort of definitely stand out. It's sort of the highest point in the landscape. I remember anytime I'd go out of town, it was always the clue that I was home. I knew once I saw the globe, I knew I was back home.
Built in the 1950s, the globe was used as a natural gas storage tank till the 1970s. However, many locals heard tales of other uses over the years.
I remember growing up in the area as a child, believing that people lived in the globe. I think I've heard that it's waters inside the globe. I mean, I've heard that's where they kept, you know, the river, the green dye that dyed the river for St. Patrick's Day. I mean, who knows? I've heard a million stories about the globe, and to this day, I don't know if any of them are true.
The globe measures 60 feet in diameter and was originally painted showing the national boundaries. Now the giant sphere is painted as it would appear from space. The humongous orb has been painted and repainted several times, including in the 1990s when Hurricane Floyd was painted off the Georgia coast. However, the globe would have to be fixed when it was realized a hurricane was spinning in the wrong direction.
Cork works in Savannah, and we definitely have a lot of cork.
The big globe has also made an appearance on the big screen, sharing the spotlight with Ben Affleck and Sandra Bullock in the 1999 motion picture, Forces of Nature.
That globe's definitely had more than its 5 minutes of fame. It'll be more famous than any of us will ever be.
Savannah about to get a lot of rock and roll this weekend, but one man in Chatham County has been rocking and rolling for decades.
Yeah, the Bloomingdale resident has made guitars for some of music's biggest stars. And tonight, WJCL's Frank, the big guy, Sulkowski, introduces us and takes us off the beaten path.
Alone in his Bloomingdale workshop, among the unfinished guitars, banjos, and mandolins, and various tools, Randy Wood is making music, or at least the instruments that will soon be making music.
Music pretty much is my life.
Like a surgeon, Wood's eyes and hands, the most important pieces of equipment. You're looking at a master craftsman whose handcrafted instruments have found their way into thousands of musicians' hands, including music royalty like Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, and Eric Clapton.
Well, it's always a real satisfying feeling to see one of your instruments being played, and I still enjoy it. The instruments I build today, you know, I'd get a big kick out of seeing them played.
Wood has built a little music mecca just off Highway 80 in Bloomingdale. Not only does he craft, repair, and sell guitars and other instruments from his shop, the property also includes the Pick and Parlor Concert Hall, where top bluegrass musicians from around the country come to play for music fans from far and wide.
Friends of mine from Nashville and other places that were traveling through the area, musicians, kept talking about they wish there was a place they could play here in town, so we opened up the concert hall, and it's just one of those things that's kind of a hobby that keeps getting out of hand.
Music has been Randy Wood's life, a love affair that can be seen in each instrument he creates and heard in each conversation he has with the next generation of musicians.
We probably spend almost half of our time in the retail store trying to educate people about what to look for in a musical instrument, even if they don't buy it from us. We try to explain to them about the action, you know, so that they don't go buy something that they can't play.